The asshole guards will triumph in this situation because they happen to get their
Ja,
reinforcement.
was habe ich gesagt? Im Nu ist die Tür wieder offen. Ich muss jetzt gleich zur Abtei von Aber lasst euch...
So, this man wishes to go to an abbey that coincidentally happens to be the same abbey that I have to go to. I would assume that this is not fate pushing us together, but rather the fact that he's an annoying little bloke who made me kill a bunch of rats for absolutely no reward. I also found that the guards did not have the common courtesy to move their injured comrade into a more suitable gravesite, so perhaps I would have to do that for them. Right by these two caskets should do just fine. I have no idea why this town had caskets, but I can only assume that somebody predicted this exact thing would happen and made exactly two caskets for the, let's say 2 guards that died. Sounds about right. Also, there are several mages who died. I would assume that these are not the same mages that told me I was magical, but rather some other asshole mages that, well, spent their free time pillaging random towns that are populated by a grand total of 3 people. So, having positioned all the victims in a most beautiful and sculptured way, I decided to talk to the guard.
Verschwindet.
He told me to promptly go away.
Verschwindet.
The following guard told me to go away.
Und die Mine ist jetzt wieder sicher. Ich habe meine Pflicht. Ein bisschen spät, nicht wahr?
So,
Wir haben überlebt und die Mine ist jetzt wieder...
he talks about fulfilling his duty. Yes. Quite the prick. Quite the prick. I dislike him already. Now let's see. Let's see what I can sell you. What can I sell you? I can sell you that. I can sell you a pet helmet. I also sold some of the potions that I had in my health. In my possession, rather. And kept only the useful ones, such as health potions. I also realized that I had quite a lot of mushroom money. Perhaps I would invest in the mushroom market. And sell him a gold nugget. I finally managed to get a halfway decent rate out of this cur before realizing that I didn't want any of the crap that he was selling, because it was exactly that, crap. So, moving right along, I walked back to the mine to talk to the unbearded youth
Also, wollt ihr doch
that
mitkommen?
wait for me within.
Schön. Ich habe ein Boot.
The youth seemed quite excited about going on a trip with me, and I guess he was quite alright looking. However, I took no particular interest in him. His personality was just not that great. But then again, he was a real go-getter, so I'm guessing he would be the kind of fool that would stand around waving his arm while I'm ahead of him, and then run furiously at me when I approach him, to tell him that he is a fool. Some people just cannot be helped, honestly. I found the guard had in fact been dumped into the casket which I moved him near. It is always nice to see things like this happen. after I suggest them, of course. Because you know what? I'm important. I make a bloody difference. As I followed the young youth to the lake, I saw 2 more guards burning the bodies of the mages.
Allesamt.
Apparently these guys hate the elves. And this guy does not want any trouble. So I am grateful that there were no elves that I've thus met in my adventures, or else I would have to kill them. Because they're assholes. Clearly. If the guards don't like them, and the guards being the nicest of people. Oh, perhaps it is drainage water for this lake. A most mysterious sort of construction, really. However, as I walked around the lake, I saw something that looked like a house. And I decided to enter. The insides of this place were dark. I knew I would have to use my torch to my advantage. The place was a veritable dead end, and had another one of these trolls. It was so nice to see a familiar enemy. It was almost like coming home, or to the place that I last remember after getting that mysterious letter from somebody with good intentions that apparently tried to kill me. Really, mages have just no subtlety whatsoever. Conjuring up a wave of fire, walking through it, then walking back through it to talk to me. The gall. I demand a proper audience where I can be dressed in my best dress and drink tea with the proper magicians, and not that hooligan who can only summon giant walls of fire, because clearly that takes no skill. Having destroyed the troll, I decided to venture further into this system that I found. Ooh, mushrooms. As it turns out, mushroom gathering is quite a profitable profession. And in here, I found that even this place was not free of vermin. I must have stumbled upon the epicenter of rat kind, for there were rats everywhere. In the mine, in the digging site, ugh. And yet another caved-in dead end, so I presumed that this was the only way forward. And yet another one of these pit rats came towards me. Foul vermin. I could endlessly amuse myself wondering why they do so much damage with their bites, and why it is harder to kill them than it is to kill a troll. A small river crab was somehow also underground, despite the complete lack of a river. Quite disappointed, really. And another rat leapt out at me from behind the crab. Perhaps this crab is the source of all the rats around here, and if I kill them, their horrid kind will just die out and no longer exist. Or perhaps I should gift these people a cat. A cat not only warms the household, but also takes care of rats. Quite efficiently, really. One could say that I am a doer and not a thinker, or perhaps you can call me a problem solver, or God, whichever one you prefer, really, I mean. I'm fine going by any of those. This crab had a great fondness for leaping. I could only envy his amazing leg strength, for the leaps that he was able to do were just absurd. I would assume that this is a basketball-playing crab, if they even have basketball in this pitiful universe. Ha. Having gotten rid of the crab problem, I could only assume that there would be more crabs. Bloody hell. Maybe these were head crabs. Long-lost relatives of those famous monsters which Gordon Freeman slew. But perhaps those are only mythical creatures based upon these. I could not tell, for the time of Gordon Freeman was long in the future, and only prophecies told of its coming. That made a lot of sense, didn't it? Being halfway between life and death, I decided to play it safe with these next couple of rats and stand above them before dropping down and striking at them. I found at the end of my road an axe and a pickaxe, as well as a strange symbol, the same one that I had found before, that endowed me with great knowledge of events of the past and the future. And it was magical. Magic. It makes this world go round. Looking through my inventory, I found a paralyzed rancid potion. Yes. Having applied a proper alchemical poison coating to my dagger, I could now rest assured that any rat which stumbled upon me would quickly meet its death, before having even the chance to run away. I also found the roots swaying from the roof to be quite amusing. Having explored this entire cave, I decided to leave and continue onwards with my young companion to wherever it was that he'd really wanted to go. But not before taking some time to swim and see a slaughterfish hovering at the bottom of the ocean. I was smart enough to unequipped the torch which I was holding before submerging myself in the cold, icy water of the lake. I swam between the lily pads and gathered... Lily pads? Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? No. Lily pads were deemed to not be useful, however I decided to gather these water hyacinth. With my poisoned dagger, I was confident that I could take on anything in the world, and oh how right I was, because nothing had come to take me. I had also managed to get to the other side of the lake, presumably where the boy wanted to take me, so perhaps I should go back to the boy. But that would make entirely too much sense. So instead, I decided to take care of this river crab that was pestering me. This one was also quite the basketball-playing crab, having quite a bountiful jump. Perhaps it is the presence of 6 legs that enables it to go so high. That was indeed a question for somebody like Velociraptor to answer. For nobody can philosophize better than a Velociraptor. It even has the word raptor in its name. You can tell it was meant to be. I swam with but one arm, the other arm holding my dagger swiftly and strongly out in front of me, in case any danger were to come upon me. I also discovered that magic works underwater. Quite useful, really. I also earned an achievement which was quite unbecoming of my title of state alchemist. A water rat? Me? That's absurd. I followed the little boy to his toy boat, and could only laugh at its plain stupidity and fullness of sack. However, I sat down and decided to steer the vessel, while listening to his pathetic small talk, which I didn't understand.
Führt schließlich einen Krieg gegen das Nordreich. Ihr wisst schon, es hat sich vom Rest Nehrims
I
abgespalten.
quickly tuned him out and started looking at the top of trees while listening to the beautiful